What's up, everybody, and welcome back to week 20 of the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series DFS preview. This is Austin from the Sports Chief, and we're going to go over our strategy for the race at the Foxwoods Resort Casino 301 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, known as Loudon. That's kind of what I call it a lot. New Hampshire is a 1 mile oval, very flat. Pretty high speeds, though, to be a flat track. Normally, the average lap here, you're going to be looking in the 130s, low 130s. Difficult to pass here, sort of. And it's also the aero package they're bringing for this track is going to be very similar to years past, being that I think it's like the 700 and some horsepower package. So one thing I'm going to be looking at today is really historic numbers here at Loudon. If you've had a lot of good history here at this track, you're probably going to run well at it. So that's really important to me while making my lineup. There were a lot of wrecks in practice this weekend. So one thing about DraftKings is I know right now the starting positions are probably not official, and they probably won't be till later, and I really don't really care for that. It's kind of hard to see when, guys are starting wherever. So this video is just kind of going to be a guide to kind of show you who I'm thinking are going to be the best picks for what we have right now. If those options change, of course, you can adjust accordingly. I can't keep up with all those guys that wrecked out, and it just depends, where they get put in the starting lineup and where they go. So it's going to be interesting to see that. So this is going to be a relatively short video, and hopefully I give you some information to help you out in your lineup. So let's check it out here. Let me scroll up to the top. So your top priced option is Kyle Busch starting in second at 11.9. Martin Truex Jr. starting in sixth at 11.5. Kevin Harvick starting in 14th position at 11.1. Brad Keselowski on the pole at 10.7. Joey Logano 10.3 starting in eighth. And Chase Elliott starting in 12th at 10. So six guys are 10K this week. Denny Hamlin's actually 9,700. I don't think he's really been that expensive all year long, so that's pretty interesting to see. But he's a very good driver at this track. Kyle Larson at 9.4, and then Kurt Busch after his victories went up a little bit in price. So looking at this here, again, I'm not really sure if the starting positions will be affected with all the wrecked cars that we had this weekend. So Kyle Busch, of course, is always a great option. Martin Truex is actually a very good driver here at this track. Kevin Harvick, to me, starting in 14th spot, is a great option. He still has yet to win a race this year. I feel like this could be it. He's ran pretty well here in the recent years. I believe he won the last race at New Hampshire. So I'm actually going Kevin Harvick, starting in 14th spot. Very likely for him to get a top 5, and he was decent, fast enough in practice to where I could see them, having something click, and I really like Kevin Harvick there, starting in 14th. And being that I picked my 11,100 guy, I'm going to scroll down here. Denny Hamlin, hey, starting in 23rd, that's a pretty good option. But let's just keep on going down the line here. And one guy that I'm just sold on picking right now is Ryan Newman in the 26th spot. If you keep on looking down here, a lot of the lower guys qualified really well. Menard 17th, DiBenedetto 7th, Hemrick 19th, Ty Dillon 18th. These guys qualified very well. David Reagan 20th. So a guy I really like is Ryan Newman. He's very likely to get a top 15 finish, and I'm just going to go with him in that. He's won, I think, 3 races at New Hampshire in the past. So going with him there at 7.6. Also, the fastest guy in practice really was Ryan Blaney, according to lap averages in the final practice. He was the fastest guy. And I really like Blaney here, starting in 5th. His past history here at this track had been pretty solid. He's actually gotten, if you look at his past results, he kind of gets better every race he goes here. And I think that he could very well win this race. And also a strategy that I'm using for this week is I'm going Ford heavy. I think Ford has brought a good piece. According to practice speeds, they look like they brought a good piece. A lot of your drivers you're seeing wrecking are kind of Chevy drivers, it seems like. So I don't know what's going on with that. But, Ryan Blaney there in 5th, I really like that option. and now I've got 7,500 to spend. Going down here in the cheap options now, you really can't. I mean, you could go Sorensen, Huff, Castle, Tift, possibly, Ross Chastain, maybe, but normally those guys are just. I don't know. I probably wouldn't go that route. They probably won't get top 25s unless there's a lot of wrecks, which it's New Hampshire. There's not normally a lot of wrecks. Corey LaJoie starting in 29th, and he showed enough speed to me that he could be a great option. You know, Bubba Wallace I wouldn't go with, but for some reason Ryan Preece has intrigued me starting in 28th. I feel like Preece could get at least the top 25, and he could maybe get you a few spots. So I'm going with Ryan Preece there in 28. Oh, and also Ryan Newman I believe is going to a backup car, so his number is going to be lower. And Ryan Preece's number, he's starting in 28. So going back up here at 83.50, I tell you what, I'm going to go Stewart-Haas heavy. Eric Almirola looked really strong here last year. His speed was very good in practice. I'm going to go him again. I'm also going to go with Clint Bowyer. It's very, very easy for an option here. Clint Bowyer's won here in the past, so I looked at going with him. So let's clean it up here. Let's go back at it. Kevin Harvick, top spot there. Ryan Blaney, Clint Bowyer, and Eric Almirola. I'm going boom, boom, boom. They're at 8.6, 8.4, 8.2. 6,800 to spend. Ryan Newman. Scroll down here, Ryan Preece. So that's going to be what I'm rolling out for right now. Now this is tentative. May not be my final lineup. I've got to recheck it in the morning to see how NASCAR adjusts or if DraftKings adjusts. So if DraftKings does not change the starting lineups, this is what I'm rolling out. So there you have it. That's my preview for New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Just keep an eye on how DraftKings does their starting lineups. We'll see what goes on with that. Look at your historical stats. Kind of go with your gut here, in my opinion. In the past, a lot of guys that start in the back don't really finish well here. Not that it can't happen. It just seems like a lot of your top 10 guys are starting in the top 20 or thereabouts. My strategy for this week, looking at those numbers for starting lineup, a lot of people are going to go Alex Bowman, seeing that starting at the back, which I think he's a good option for sure. I think you've just got to pick kind of how the Xfinity race went. Christopher Bell dominated it. It could happen in the Cup race. So go with who you think will run well, get very solid finishes, and pick a couple guys that you think may pass just a few cars. Maybe pick one wild card that may get a top 15 and pass a lot of cars. I'm going with fast cars this week. More of a cash strategy. Again, I guess it could be a tournament strategy too. I got Ryan Preece in there, but anyway, that's what I'm rolling out with. Best of luck to you guys out for the Foxwoods Resort Casino 301. Check us out on Twitter at The Sports Chief. Also on Instagram at The Sports Chief. Yes, and www.thesportschief.com. Also check our Twitter page. We're giving away some AEW All Out tickets to Sears Center in Chicago. We got 2 tickets. Just retweet it and retweet the actual tweet with the tickets, and then give us a follow, and you'll be put in a drawing to win those 2 tickets. Pretty cool thing. Big things happening at the Sports Chief. Got any questions, comments, concerns, just hit us up or comment on the YouTube video here below. So best of luck to you at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and have a good night.